Okay, so we're just doing this vlog. It's Jamal. We're just doing this vlog really quickly after therapy before we start Braille training at the site center today. Today was a harder day for us. We've been struggling a lot with like finding the motivation to log in our Simply Plural app what's going on in our system. So, for example, I found when I went to vlog, I was getting pushback from Nick when I went to log into our Simply Plural app, or when I went to make a vlog. But I feel like when Elliot went to log, he was getting pushback from Taylor. So I'm not sure what that's about. We're still working that out. We also spoke to our therapist this morning. Our therapist has a lot of similarities. At least our one does, that helps us with us as a system, has a lot of similarities to our biological mother, unfortunately. Like, sad, harsh. Just look wise, certainly not action wise or anything, but look wise. And so it's hard for us sometimes to tackle certain subjects. And we discussed one of the subjects that was harder for our system to tackle and why we found it hard to tackle that subject with her in particular and not with another therapist. So that was tough today. However, it went surprisingly well, I thought. And we were able to talk it through, we were able to work it through. We're able to start to discuss some of the reasons why it was reminding us of our past and what about, the subject that we were uncomfortable with could we start to tackle, as far as the things that made us uncomfortable, because we had a whole list. So that was cool. That was kind of nice. That was like good practice for us, I guess, for later. We were discussing in therapy how that was good practice for later, for when we're learning to communicate when we're dealing with like harder memories, for trauma memories and things. So good things. We're gonna have Braille training, and then we're supposed to have a drum lesson. We are really dissociated and we are rapid switching today, so I guess it'll go how it goes. We'll see. But here's where we are for the moment. Anyway. So this is a further therapy update that we didn't get a chance to give. It's Jamal and Tailor. And we didn't get a chance to give it because we had to leave from where we were and go into training. So we're going to go ahead and give it now. The rest of the update is that Nick has been coming out more, which is huge. He really hadn't been coming out much up to this point other than to cook occasionally. But he has shown up at system meetings the past couple of weeks, which is huge. And he has also written into a couple of support groups that we're a part of and spoken out as himself, which is huge because he's never done that before, and we've been a part of the support groups for a while. So for him to be able to reach out like that, in particular for him to be able to reach out and discuss issues around our DID and things like that are really huge. He doesn't normally ever do that. He barely sits Kokon for a therapy session every once in a while, So we didn't expect him to actually reach out and do that, but he did, so that was really huge. And we've been doing a little bit better with cooperating as far as switching. We have our main fronters pinned down now, which is nice, because we didn't before. We've been able to do that through the help of the app Simply Plural, which has been amazing. We've also been able to use that app to discuss system meetings or things that happen internally instead of maybe fighting it out internally between our alters. We've been able to use the app to sit down and chat about things and see them from each other's perspective, which is huge. That's something we really, really, really deeply struggled with before. I'm not saying it's perfect. And I'm not saying that, every time, for example, there's a system fight, we go to the app, or every time there's a system meeting, we go to the app. We should, but we're just not there yet. So we're working up to that. We also started Braille training for learning how to read UEB, which is a particular code of Braille, particular way of writing it, if you will, that's different than what we learned growing up and what we know. And so it's sort of like what would happen if someone wrote out Middle English for you and said, I want you to suddenly understand all of your documents in Middle English, everything, whether you want to or not. There it is. That's exactly what a lot of things are like with UEB Braille right now. And it's just not a code we know, so we're learning that. We're also starting orientation and mobility training, which is a way of teaching blind people how to navigate the world around them. Everything from, okay, here's the end of your driveway, how do you get to the bus stop, to, okay, now you're riding the subway, how do you navigate that, right? And not all of our system members know how to do that, or we're only there for certain skill sets, so they don't have the entire skill set. Since we don't have control over our switches, it's difficult to know who will come out for what or how that will all work out. So we're starting training with that to kind of figure that out this week. So that'll be interesting to kind of see where that goes. And that's really about it.